Hi everyone, Shaylee Gallagher here, the author of The Cursed Promise, back again for another video where I will be talking about designing your book cover. So let's begin. Alright, so there's a lot of things to consider when you're designing a book cover, but the three main ones that I really consider when I designed my book cover is one, is it immediately readable? The second you see that cover, can you read the title? That's very important in my opinion. 2, does it stand out from other covers in the same genre? If every single cover has the silhouette of people on them, every book cover is going to look very similar. There is obviously a lot of trends that come with book covers, and sometimes following those trends is not always the best thing, because then your book kind of gets lost in a sea of book covers that all look the same. 3, does it stand the test of time? Again, following trends is not always the best thing to do. If you think of a book cover, is there certain book covers where immediately you can think of them? And so one that I can think of that stands the test of time is, if you see two hands holding an apple, you know exactly what book that is. I don't even have to name it and you know it. As well as The Great Gatsby, The Eye, The Blue Sky, everyone knows that book cover. Very iconic, stands the test of time book cover, and that's not like a trendy book cover, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we have those three. I will get back to those, so remember that. Immediately readable, stands out from other covers in the genre, and stands the test of time. So for me, I designed my own cover. It is the cheapest way to do it for me. I just used Photoshop, but you can also use things like Canva or other photo editing software where you can, or drawing software. I'm sure you could use Procreate as well. So that is something to consider. You can also hire a cover designer, and there's a lot of amazing places you can find them. I know a lot of people who just find them on Instagram now because they're promoting themselves. I'm sure any amazing cover designer would already think about those three things I listed prior, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. However, when you're designing your own, that's where these three really stand out. So let's go back to that. Now, to start off with one, immediately readable. I see a lot of indie books where they are not immediately readable. It is something where the colors can get a little muddy, where it'll be a blue background with green text. But the green and the blue are very similar in hue. Not so much, like, they are obviously different colors, but if you turned it black and white, that text is disappearing. So if you're gonna do something like that, you need to make sure the text is brighter than the background color or darker than the background color. And significantly too, not a few shades, like very significant. Because when you're standing in the back of a store, you know, you need to be able to read that. You know, you don't want... So when you see my book, if it's all the way back here, that text, obviously, you know, it is still far away. So if you're blind like me, I can't really read it right now. Anyway, but if you're not blind like me, it absolutely, like, you can still see the text. That text stands out. This was the only other book I had nearby. Yes, I haven't read it yet. I've been busy. Same thing. If I bring it all the way back here, look at how that text stands out. You see that text immediately. You want to be able to read the title. The title is the most important part of your book. That's how people find it. Same thing with your name. Make sure your name is readable. Don't have it like tiny text or weird text. Same thing with your title. Do not have your title with this weird cursive, like, sewn in look. I see that a lot, and they're like, oh, well, I just wanted a really creative title. Yeah, but I can't read it. I thought it was just a design on the book. I didn't realize that was the title. I had no idea what that said, you know? And that is something to consider. Titles need to be immediately readable. Something else to consider when you are choosing a color scheme for the titles, the background, everything like that. Look up colorblind. Like Obviously, the most famous one is red and green. Don't put red and green right next to each other because anyone who's colorblind will not be able to read your title. So that is something very, very big to consider. So now we're going to go on to 2. And if you remember, 2 is that your book stands out from other covers in the same genre. I see it a lot, and this is in the traditional publishing world. So, you know, this really isn't in the like indie author books as much. Indie authors seem to be a bit more aware of it. But with traditional publishing, I will see a book, and then I'll see another one, and then I'll see another one, and then I'll see another one, where right now the one I see most often is these like clip art people on the cover. It's a very plain cover with clip art characters where like there's no face or anything. It's just like almost looks like the shape of a person and the colors of a person, but no face. On every book I see lately, especially young adult romances, everywhere. And that means when I see a book cover like that, I'm like, these all look the same. Are these by the same author? No, they're completely different books. They all look the same. So when you are designing a book cover, do not follow trends. Or at least if you're gonna follow a trend, find a way to make it unique. Because there's going to be a lot of book covers where you're gonna see them and you don't want your book cover to blend in, especially with the fact that if you're going to be selling online, when people are scrolling, if your book looks like every other book, it's not going to stand out. So there's that. 3, stands the test of time. Again, that goes back to trends where it's like, you know, you don't really want to follow every trend because once that trend's not trendy anymore, your book doesn't stand the test of time anymore. Design your book cover however you want. Design your book cover however you want. What I wanted 2 hands looking like they were going to grasp each other like this, like a handshake, like 2 different hands that also formed the shape of a heart so that it looked like Nadine's mark in my book. And yeah, that meant it looks really unique. The one hard part was I looked up silhouette book covers, and let me tell you, there's not a lot. There's not a lot that I could find in the young adult genre, so that was really hard to find reference on that. Not fun, but I designed it, and I'm in love with the book cover. I gotta give myself a little pat on the back. I think I did great. But that's what my book cover needed. It needed a uniqueness to it, and I have heard a lot of compliments on that. So be unique, be you, make sure it's readable, make sure it stands out, and try and make it stand the test of time. And that means sometimes taking the unique book cover. Make it unique. Don't care about what's popular right now. Make it unique, even if it's not what's trending. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I know I have been. And if you guys have any questions at all, if you guys want any other videos or have a video idea where you guys want me to answer a question, want me to do some research, I will. Comment them below or message me on my Instagram. It's the same name, Shaylee Writes. And yeah, that's all I have. So, bye!